Hello, thank you for taking time to view our presentation today. My name is Becky Thoms and my co-presenter is Becca Nelson. We are part of the Digital Initiatives team at Utah State University Libraries, where Becca is the Institutional Repository Coordinator and I'm the head of Digital Initiatives. And today we're going to be talking about Make It a Win-Win, Managing Student-Employee Experience in Library Publishing Efforts. So just a little bit of background for context. Utah State University is a public land and space grant institution in Logan, Utah. We have approximately 28,000 students, about 24,000 undergraduates and 4,000 graduate students, as well as approximately 900 faculty. The majority of those folks are located on the main campus in Logan, where we are, but we also have a robust statewide campus system, as well as a number of online programs, and we support those students and faculty as well. Our Digital Initiatives Unit is responsible for a wide range of services, but specifically in the area of publishing, our work primarily happens via 3 platforms. We use Digital Commons for our institutional repository, Content DM for our digital history collections, and Omeka for our digital exhibits. Our IR is very active and we publish and support more than 10 journals, and the IR is also part of a strong campus-wide OER program, and we host many of those materials in the IR, as well as other open monographs. We also have our theses and dissertations, and an always growing list of other unique contents that can include student projects, the products from research centers, data, etc. We also provide broad publishing support by way of our digital exhibits and digital history collections, and most often these will highlight library materials from special collections and archives, but we also use the tools to facilitate the publishing of student work, whether through class projects and collaborations with faculty or individual student internships. And we have community partners that we work with as we are part of the Mountain West Digital Library, which is a hub of the Digital Public Library of America. And finally, just a quick snapshot of our unit staff. You can see a photo of us from a recent holiday party. We have 5 full-time staff, as well as a 3/4-time coordinator for the OER program. That's a temporary position on soft money. And we also have a temporary half-time staff assistant who supports work across the unit. So most importantly, especially for the purposes of today's presentation, we have an average of 10 to 15 student employees who work in the unit every semester, and combined those students contribute approximately 2,500 hours of labor each semester on average. So the level of productivity that we're able to maintain in terms of quality and quantity wouldn't be achievable or sustainable without our students. So I'm going to hand it off to Becca, who will talk in more detail about the specific role that students play in our work, and she's going to cover a lot, very focused on the IR, is that she's the coordinator, but she'll also discuss some of the processes and tools that we use with students across the unit. Becca?
All right. So these are primarily the tasks that we give our IR students. They do a lot of data entry, which involves metadata creation, and they also do digitization for us. We have quality control and metadata cleanup that we do to kind of keep the standards that we have set for ourselves. And then we also create DOIs and checksums, and we are paying attention to copyright. So mainly the training that we do starts with workflows. Those are step-by-step with lots of examples. On this slide here, you can see the first page of one of our workflows. It has screenshots, there's bullets here. It's just laid out as simply as we can to kind of give the full information that they're going to need as they work on their projects. And then I sit down and do a one-on-one session with them where I go through an example of a project and kind of just entering the information myself while they're watching. And then I also give them the opportunity to go through their own example while I'm there and see what they remember from the workflow, if they have questions, and I'm just kind of there to guide them as they go through it. And then if they're not feeling comfortable, we'll go through a few more examples. And once they are comfortable, they're kind of on their own, but we do encourage questions throughout the process. So even if their training's over, if they have things that come up, we want them to feel comfortable asking those questions at any time. We also encourage feedback, and this is kind of a two-way process for us. So we have feedback that we're giving the students, and that's mainly through our quality control. So we look to see what they've done and if there are things that they need to change, or if they have done everything that they were supposed to. And that's also just a general check for understanding. So we want to see that the instructions we've given, they have understood them the way that we meant them. And then if there is something that's not right, then we can give them kind of more detailed feedback to tell them not only what they did wrong, but why they should be doing it this other way. And then we also let them give us feedback for our workflows mainly. They can also give us feedback for other things, but for workflows, we're looking for things that they think aren't clear. Maybe it just is written in a way that doesn't make sense to them. Or if there's something missing that they think we should add, then we really want to know about those things. Some of the processes and tools we use, our printed student handbook has all of our workflows for our projects. We use Trello as our project management tool. We have a whiteboard which assigns tasks to our students. We have a priority list which tells them for their shift what they should be working on first, second, third. And then we have checklists which are a quick reminder of things that they need to remember, mostly for our digitization that we're doing. And then we have reminders hanging at their workstations just for their general work. And if you would like us to share any of these with you, just contact us at the end. We have our information, and you can also provide your own examples, questions in the chat. So here we have some of the ones that I just mentioned. There's a picture of the whiteboard. This is only a piece of it, but it is the same sections as our shift priorities. So we have not shown here our requests, which are digitization requests. They have a quick turnaround of 2 to 3 days, so those have to get done first. Then what is shown here is our Trello board assignments. So we have the different Trello boards, which are different projects that are recurring. And then we have special projects, which are different than our recurring ones, and they have different instructions. And then we have within that the different things that they should be working on first, second, third. So we have QC corrections, QC for someone else, and then new items. And that just helps us keep projects moving forward, make sure they're getting finished before we really start working on other things. And down here I have an example of one of our Trello boards. So at the first section here is the helpful links, which these are mentioned in their workflows, but they can't click on the links on their piece of paper. So we have them here for them to easily get to. And then the rest of the columns are just the different steps in the process. So they move the cards through. We have them add themselves, so we keep track of where things are at and also who's working on everything. Another tool we use is student evaluations. So these are once a semester, usually around midterms. We just really value having the chance to check in with them and see where they're at, how we think they're doing, how we think they can improve. So we're all on the same page. And then we give examples of their work to justify the ratings that we're giving them. And we also give them some goals to work on, even if they're not doing horribly. We just want them to have something to look forward to and some goals that they can achieve. And then we also have started giving them self-evaluations. So they use essentially the same form, other than instead of areas for focus, they have the chance to tell us if there's something that they would like training in that they don't currently, or if there's something that they just don't quite feel comfortable with, they'd really like more training, and we can give that to them. So another thing that we really like to do for our students is the opportunity to give them new skills and even projects that are more relevant to their schoolwork. So they can kind of build their resumes with experiences that are going to help them later on. And some of our students are engineering, so a lot of them have some kind of coding requirement, or at least they're learning about coding in their classes, and they're using Python or something else to do that. So we've been able to let them kind of improve our batch processes by creating a code that lets the computer do part of the work for us, so that some of that more monotonous work is getting done more quickly and by a computer instead of by our students. And then they've also had the chance to scrape websites and assist with faculty research projects. We've let them create Adobe fillable forms. We're starting to explore using Airtable, which is a different project management tool, and they've got to test that out and kind of show us what they think is useful. Lucidchart just kind of gives a diagram that shows some of our processes tools in a more simple way that we can share with our stakeholders and others, so that they can understand what we're doing. And then they've also been able to edit videos. So one last thing is we give them a survey once a semester. So this is a plus delta survey. They have the chance to tell us one thing that they think we're doing well, one area we could improve in, and just anything else that they'd like to add. So this is a response from our 2018 student survey, and it shows that they actually do appreciate the effort that we put in trying to give them new skills. And it says that I am very grateful I've been able to explore new projects and opportunities. My range of skills has significantly grown while being here. I still enjoy doing the everyday tasks, but getting to work on special projects usually presents a chance to learn something new. Also, I work with a lot of great people. Not very many people can say that they consider many of their coworkers and supervisors, bosses, friends. It's a great work environment. So we didn't bribe them to say this. It's an anonymous survey, but we were really glad to see that response. And Becky, I'll turn it back to you.
So there are a number of benefits and challenges that come from having a large student employee pool. Some of the benefits are the increased productivity. We can obviously do a lot more with these 15 to 20 students working with us than we could with just our 5 full-time staff. Our students are really willing to try new things. They come to the work in the library with energy and enthusiasm, and they're not attached to particular ways of doing things. So that's a great opportunity. And they're also very creative, especially once they've spent some time in the unit. They have great ideas for new ways to do things, possible new projects, efficiencies. And so that's definitely a benefit. But there are also challenges, and complex tasks and projects with a lot of moving parts can be overwhelming for students, not because they don't have the capacity, but because they may have limited time and availability from one semester to another. Their schedules change a lot, and they have other priorities. School is obviously their greatest priority. They may have other things going on, and so we just need to be flexible and kind of balance what we're asking them to do with what availability and capacity they have in any given semester. So there are lots of lessons that we're learning all the time. Every semester is an opportunity to make improvements, both in our product as well as the experience we're providing for our students. So we are continually reminded that we need to balance the expectations of our stakeholders, whether administrators or researchers on campus or community partners. They have wants and needs, and they have particular timelines, and that's important. We need to respect that, but we also need to remember that our students have the right to a positive experience, and that we need to keep those two things from being in conflict with one another when we can. So we need to meet students where they are, and that may change from student to student, from semester to semester. So just being flexible and giving some thought to what students are ready, willing, and able to do each semester, and making their assignments accordingly, but also that we don't underestimate our students. So again, they do have a lot of capacity. They come with great skills and experience, and they can be ready to tackle challenges. Sometimes they need the more routine work, but sometimes they're ready for a lot more. So need to make those decisions on a case-by-case basis. So looking ahead to the future, we've spent the last year or so doing a lot of assessment and gathering a lot of data with the goal that we have for ourselves, which is to be more informed in our planning and making our decisions in terms of determining capacity for projects and timelines. And what we're trying to do there is create space so our students can be more self-directed in their work and in their learning, and give them a chance to set some of their own goals for projects, skills, things they would like to achieve in a given semester. So everything we do is not driven by a particular project's timeline or deadline, but gives us a little bit more flexibility and opportunity. So we'll see how we do in the coming year or so. So thank you for your time today, and we're looking forward to engaging with you with any questions in the chat. And you can also reach us after this via email or via Twitter.